Roll call. Chantel Baker.
Present.
Kim Claypool.
Present.
David Barker.
Present.
Andrew Smith.
Present.
All are present.
All right, we like to start off these meetings with our student celebrations. So we want to start in order on the agenda. I say so.
So, well, actually, first up is preschool.
We're going backwards.
No, you're I'll switch it.
Do you want me to come with you? Okay. So our student of the month is Mr. Brooks Fox, and I mean, he's the cutest guy in the whole world. He has been with our preschool. This is his second year, and it's his second year with Mrs. K. So this year, Mrs. K says that he has really become a leader in the classroom, and we're very proud of him. She says we can always count on Brooks to set a great example for his classmates. And he's always happy, and he's always smiling, and he's just, I mean, we just love Brooks. Brooks' favorite color, what's your favorite color? Orange, that's not what you told us. These are all lies. What is your favorite color today? Is orange. Oh, it's blue. Okay. What do you love about school? Snacks. He says he loves share day when they have show and tell at school. What do you want to be when you grow up, Brooks? He told Mrs. K he wants to be a race car driver. Because this is a Hot Wheel Ninja Turtle loving boy right here. And what's your favorite food, Brooks? Waffles? Well, this day it was pepperoni pizza. Congratulations to Brooks, our student of the month.
Mrs. Hardy. Mrs. Hardy.
Give Brooks to come back here. Give all of us a
We need to
little
come
mic.
over here for a picture and.
Okay. Just stay over here. Stay over there. Good picture. Over here. It's like we're going all right.
Hold your frame down so you don't hide your face.
Down a little bit. Here, hold it, 2 hands. Hold it, 2 hands. Smile.
Okay.
For the elementary this month, we have Miss Sophia Bray, a 4th grader, who is our student of the month. A couple things, I'll just read a few things from her slide, but she loves cheer and Lilo and Stitch and Disney. She loves spaghetti. The color blue and math are all those the same. Okay. And a few things that they said about Miss Sophia. There were lots of good things. I could not fit them all in this little tiny box, but it says she's truly demonstrated what it means to contribute, grow, and belong within our school community. Sophia exemplifies the values of teamwork, respect, and continuous learning that make our school a special place. She makes our classroom a better place by having her in it. And there's lots of ways that she belongs and grows and contributes. She participates. She has a love of, she's very curious, and she's determined to improve all the time and has a very positive attitude. So congratulations to Sophia.
It's all of us a high five. And then we'll meet you over there for a picture. Yeah. We're gonna get one, and then the family want to grab a picture. And then if any family want pictures, feel free to.
Okay, so this is Mason Griffith. Mason Griffith is Northeastern Middle School's October Student of the Month, and he was chosen by his 7th grade teachers. His favorite teacher is Mr. Reed because, and this is a quote, he likes Ohio State and I do too. When Mason grows up, he wants to be a football coach and maybe a teacher. So I bet Mr. Reed influences him just a little bit more than being an Ohio State fan. Mason's dad is Kyle, and he was a police officer, and his mom is Lindsay, and she is a hairstylist. He has a sister named Audrey and 2 brothers. Tanner is 3, and Grant is 1. Mason has a dog named Ribeye and a cat named Beans. I don't know what was happening when we named our animals, maybe a picnic. Mason is very active, but when he has some free time, he really enjoys playing video games. His favorite game is College Football 26. Mason contributes by playing football, basketball, and baseball at Northeastern, and he is a slot wide receiver and a safety. He plays small forward, and he plays first base, respectively. According to Mr. Reed, Mason belongs by being able to work with anybody. He really cares about school. He grows by giving his best effort each and every single day. He is one of the most polite kids in the 7th grade. Congratulations, Mason.
No, I didn't. It's up there.
That's why we sent it to you.
Congratulations, buddy.
For Northeastern High School, our student of the month is Bridget Whitty. She was nominated by Mr. Haynes in the Social Studies Department. She belongs by Bridget is a damsel, and she's also the El Presidente of the Spanish Club. As for growth, Bridget has challenged herself at NHS and has taken multiple dual credit classes and AP classes. How many did you take last year?
AP or dual credit?
Both.
Dual credit too. We only have one AP and I took it already.
Right,
So.
yeah. As far as contributes, Bridget is a member of the National Honor Society. She volunteers at a local animal shelter, and she's a wonderful mentor to damsels and is an awesome role model and students have in class. In her spare time, Bridget likes to dance, read, spend time with her family and friends, and dance again and dance. Bridget does a lot of dance. So, but Bridget Whitty is our student of the month. Yeah, that's what I think.
Any student celebrations? Okay, we will go right into our administrative reports, and we will start with the superintendent. Well, if you would like to leave, this would be a good time. If not, you can stay and learn a lot more about what's going on in Northeastern.
First up, I want to offer congratulations to our senior team for placing second and qualifying for the FFA State Area Soil Contest. They'll be doing that this month. There were 15 teams that competed. This team consists of Annie Hickle, Casey Shepman, Kaylin Bulmer, and Leah Milton. And also a huge shout out to the middle school team for winning the junior area division. They will be going also on to the state contest this month, and team members are Austin Sawyer, Addison Wilson, Garrett Cope, and Tilly Crowner. I received a message from Brian Reed from the Eastern Indiana Veterans Resource Fair and Hiring Event, thanking Northeastern for their outstanding contributions. Northeastern Middle and High School participated in their hygiene product drive, and their efforts assisted in providing bags to 82 veterans and making a sizable donation to the VA Richmond's community-based outreach clinic. So also the Northeastern High School National Honor Society made a huge contribution by helping set up the First Bank Expo Hall for this event. The 15 students that came were able to set up over 100 tables and chairs in a little over an hour. They also set up the hygiene product drive area and the open ceremony area. So thank you to them. The high school cross-country team received an IHSAA exemplary behavior report stating that Coach Tyler Hotsteller and the boys and girls cross-country teams are to be commended for their exemplary behavior at the Centerville Cross-Country Invite. Team members were encouraging of their runners and of the other schools that participated. The Early Learning Center has been accepted to participate in the Lena Grow. This is a practice-based professional development program that helps teachers improve their classroom language environment. So also this week, bids have been advertised for updating our track and also for the high school masonry repair and replacement work that needs to take place.
Do you know what's the date on that, the deadline?
For the bids, there's still a couple weeks because the advertisement will go out again.
Thank you.
I have a question on bids. Are we anticipating funds for masonry work is going to be low enough to make room for a track project? Because that was always.
Yes, there are enough funds, and the bids are advertised as two separate projects, so the bids are going out at the same time.
Okay.
One of the bids with the HVAC that you previously did, we were able to do some changes to even add to that project to update the controls. And then with the track project, we are able to write in an alternate to include an increase in bleachers. So that would be our alternate, would be to pour cement pads to be able to add additional bleachers. And with the track bid project, we are looking at a complete tear out and redo rather than another resurfacing.
But then what's the material for the track? Did we ask that on the bid? What kind of material we're putting in?
Yes, they'll do that. And they'll have to put a new base down as well. So timing wise, the masonry work, depending on the weather, could start as early as February, the spring. And then the track obviously would be a summer project, but it'd be slated to start basically the day after Memorial Day with a wrap up before school starts.
Thank you. High school.
Recently, we proctored the PSAT for grades 9, 10, 11, and some stuff 8th graders. Each year we get better and better at it. A few kids that were absent, so we finished up most of the testing with a few kids that we have to still test, but The majority of those kids have tested, so once that closes, we'll take that data and use it to build our skill plans for kids to work on. SAT prep, to sound off, our FFA solo teams will go to state Friday and Saturday this week. So we'll do a state walk at the end of the day tomorrow around the building, and then they'll head over on Friday. Recently, a select group of our students went on a Manufacturing Matters trip. And it was really neat because some of the kids get to see opportunities that they can pursue after high school. And so we had some kids that came away with some really excited about it. And that's always a benefit for those kids that, that are going into the workforce to see what is out there and understand it and really attract it. We had a kid last year at the Manufacturing Matters and the job fair that ended up fell in love with Blue Buffalo, and they came and did a sign with them last year. It was really cool. So when we return from fall break, our FFA students will be attending the state convention. I'm lucky enough to get to chaperone on the 30th. So we're gonna drive the white bus over and take 14 kids over and spend the day, and then come back about 8:30 that night. But it'll be fun. I've been in Indianapolis when the FFA convention's been there. There's kids everywhere in their FFA jackets. So to get there and be a part of it, I'm pretty excited about that. The kids are, I think, even more excited than I am. And have keep telling me, oh, you're going with us. I'm like, yeah, so it's pretty good. Some staff shout outs. I had a team of teachers. We had some struggles with the club schedule. So I had Ms. McCummins, Mr. Hosteller, Mr. Hornick, and Mrs. Hornick, and then Mrs. Hickey that all stepped up to redo our schedule for the clubs. They did a lot of surveying of teachers and students. And so when we come back from fall break, we'll roll that back out. Then also another shout out to Tricia Peters, Steve Luby, Steve Hornick, and Steve Marker. They took it upon themselves to build a Canvas page for staff that talks about all the different links that they have, tutorials, anything that a new teacher would want to know, or even an experienced teacher. They've built this whole Canvas page, and then it's also got, it's kind of, everybody can use it, so it's neat to, if you're not one that does Canvas, here's some tutorials for that they created and made videos for. So a huge shout out to them for doing that, and they did that on their own, so I always appreciate that.
So do you have an honorary FFA jacket to wear?
They said they're too small now. I do not.
Searching for material right now.
Searching for tents. But I do
I
not.
have it over in the closet.
I know, we'll just stitch a few together.
There you go.
All the old ones, donate.
So,
Do you have a special guest here with you tonight?
I do. This is Tracy Cox, hopefully our new assistant principal, after you guys vote, but she's joining us from Union Modoc. She's been there for
Almost 5 years.
almost 5 years. We're excited to have her come on board. So,
Can you give us an update on the valedictorian, salutatorian, and the wall?
So I've reached back out to Jeff Plaster, who's the funding on that. Honestly, right now, running both positions, I've not been able to follow up with him.
What do you mean he's funding it? What do you mean?
So there was a grant that was a part of that.
Okay.
We looked at, so at the beginning of the school year, I looked at one company that did the board, like the TV and the boards. Theirs was all online based, and the cost was very expensive, and it would have been a reoccurring cost every year. So then it's the idea of looking at, okay, what can we do in-house? Mr. Howard and I we looked at it because there was a part of it that I thought athletics could probably do something, but just that constant reoccurring cost and the price of it was really expensive just to have it stored on the web. So I've got to follow back up on that.
Well, and I think we kind of talked about not going in the direction of having a TV and stuff.
Yeah,
So-
why can't the pictures, can the pictures be put back up?
So what we would do is the intent, what we would plan on is the TV would be part of it. So therefore you could go back and search the data in the history of Northeastern. And then next to it, we're going to have pictures for the senior, or that senior graduating class of who would be your vowels and sounds. And then have,
So just that class.
yes. And then, but then once that next year comes up, then there would be in the database as far as anybody can search that.
I don't know. I don't like the idea of the TV and like it just being a TV sitting there. And
It's a touch screen where you can go,
I
it's
know,
not,
I understand.
okay. Well, the problem we're into the old pictures of this sort of yellow, the vendors that we used to use for that no longer are in business. So staying a consistent thing of going through that. I understand, I want to still honor those people, but we run into a point where vendors go out of business, we can't get those remade, or if they're gonna look different every year. And that's, trying to remain consistent on that is what the goal of that was.
We also went from having two
Yeah.
people that we were displaying to last year we had 10,
Yeah.
and we were already losing the amount of available space on that wall as it was. So we knew we had to explore something else than what is or was currently there, because that was a system that was going to run its limit in its time fairly soon. Just like that. One of the reasons that we were exploring it in the first place.
So on the TV, it will display the picture.
So we would have a TV that would have all the historical data for Northeastern. Next year, we would put up the pictures of those students. Then after the next year's class, those students would now go in the database. And the next year's class would be put up.
Right. But would the picture be in there or just the information, just the name?
The picture,
the
well, we
old
would upload this, the goal would be is we would upload the picture with names and then based on the graduating class.
But you would have to search it. I mean, it's a TV that you would have to search for information.
It wouldn't like,
It would have tabs for different things. It would have, here's your academic honors, here's your balance house. It would have tabs. It wouldn't be like searching the internet for it. We would have it set up in a way that's easy to use.
Okay.
but it wouldn't be a continuous feed of those pictures.
You can set up however you want. You could do it that way. Ideally, what my thought is that the pictures of the students stay on that wall for a year.
Yeah.
And then we put them there. But you can source it down on all kinds of different formats.
Well,
That's
like you
right.
said, it's expensive though.
Right.
So the
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
and we talked about also like who's gonna keep it updated, because like our webpage takes a while to get updated. So someone would have to make sure that was always updated, and we might have someone do it now and then they quit, go somewhere else, and then someone's not doing it. I just feel like that being on a computerized thing is not really telling the story of Northeastern when you walk into the school. And I understand, and I don't think we should put 10 valedictorians. I think the top valedictorian should be on there, and then the salutatorian. But I think when you walk into that hallway, it's always been telling the story of our school, and that's showing our valedictorians and our salutatorians, and that's showing our kids who did well in academics and sports and all that stuff. So I think going to that, and I understand about things change and we can't stay with the exact same thing all the time. I just feel like that's not telling our story.
Okay. But I will do it.
Well,
No,
I'm just one
I just-
person, so I'm just one person,
Right.
but we've talked about it so long, and what I'm worried about is, and I know you're busy and I get it, and this is low, and it should be. I understand that. I'm not saying anything, but the more time that goes by, then all of a sudden it's just gone. That's what I'm worried about.
They need a brainstorming session.
Yeah.
It's not just on you.
And it's not you, it's not on you. I'm not saying that. I'm just, I just thought about it and I thought I need to get an update to see kind of where we're at with that.
We're old school, we like to see the pictures hanging in the hall,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like,
And it's cheaper.
but
Thank you.
Yes. Middle school.
Well, we produced our first middle of the night newsletter, and doggone it, I forgot to bring it to give it to you guys. So I might sneak out here in a minute and go get it and bring it over. The 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students took their first iLearn checkpoint this week. We aren't completely finished with it though. We have to do some of the makeups and some of the students that didn't get finished. So we hopefully will have that done maybe by Friday, but not hopefully by the end of we have to have it done by the end of the window, so we can do that when we get back from fall break. Just as a reminder though, this is just a formative assessment. These checkpoints are just formative assessments and they do not count toward their summative test at the end of the year. Today was a fun day. Today was the 6th grade trip to an educational occupational experience known as JA BizTown. And during their visit to BizTown, students got a hands-on experience of holding a job and managing money and working as a team, meeting deadlines, learning about good citizenship, and probably most importantly, not blowing their paycheck on the first minute they got a hold of it. It was a really fun experience watching all the kids participate in that. The team, 6th grade team has been working for the last probably last 3 or 4 weeks getting them prepared for this. There was a job that they had to prepare for. They had to know what they were going to do. Once they arrived, we had to recruit something like 30 parent volunteers. So they were very excited to participate in that today. And my son's in the 6th grade and he's been talking this up for like the last 2 weeks. So he's been very, very excited about that. So that was really fun to watch that. Some shout outs. Again, I want to specifically shout out the 6th grade team for doing this. Miss Williams, Mrs. Breitenbach, Mrs. Kircher Taylor, Ms. Highway, and Ms. Reno all did a fantastic job of working with each other and working with our 6th graders and working with the parents and obviously working with those that work at BizTown to make this happen. We also started the new 9 weeks this week. So we are, I always want to commend Mrs. Bell for that transition because that's always a kind of a stressful time when you move from one 9 weeks to the next. So she does a fantastic job of keeping the office together. I don't know what we would do without her.
That's good. So was the Biz Kids, was it held here at the school or did you?
No,
go off
we went to Indianapolis. It was about an hour and 20-minute bus ride. It was off of Keystone Avenue. It's amazing. Like they have, talking to some of the people that work there, they have so many schools that go through there, and it's all year round. So it's typically 4th, maybe 5th and 6th, definitely 5th and 6th grade oriented. They had jobs that you were either a mayor, sheriff. They had probably about 20 different companies that were established throughout there. They had a bank. They had a, like Salesforce was one of them, UPS, FedEx, Purdue was there. They had, and everybody had like a good job. So you had like a CEO, a CFO, you might've been a sales manager, could have been a police officer. The mayor gave a speech. So one of our students was the mayor and she gave a speech to her citizens. And then the sheriff got up and gave a speech. It's really cool. And then here's also something that was really cool. They did lunch in 3 different shifts. So when it was your turn to go to lunch, you had to find somebody that would do your job. So you was like to cover your shift while you were at work or while you were at lunch. So, and the way that they had it all organized was phenomenal. It was really cool the way they had it.
And then what did you have for lunch?
I had the school lunch, a sack lunch. So, yeah.
We did have to sign up last year in order to get a time slot for this school year.
Yeah. Very cool.
Wow. Oh, good.
I would hope that would be something that we could continue to do. Having also done what we've done previously just in our own gym, which was great for what it was, but this really just took it up.
It did.
But more than just a notch. I mean, it was a really cool experience, and the kids really enjoyed it.
They did. They really did.
Thank you.
Well,
Elementary.
So we are also taking the I Learn checkpoints. Those have started for third, fourth, and fifth grade, so we'll continue those. The window doesn't close until November 14th, so we have plenty of time to do that, and they get a second opportunity as well. We are also going to Biztown, fifth grade tomorrow, so that's our day, and the fifth grade team has been working just like Mr. Smith described, sixth grade teachers. We sent somebody ahead this year for the PD, we had to send a teacher for the training, and we have the 30 volunteers going as well. So excited, especially hearing that. You can look it up on YouTube and there's a video of it if you are interested in seeing what it looks like in action, because it's pretty cute. We have other field trips that are going on, lots of classes. We've been visiting Safety Village, lots of orchards. Mrs. Smith, who runs our life skills room, has been taking the little white bus herself and for kiddos out into the town, city. They're going, they've been on one trip so far, and they're going to the Fountain City Fire Department next. So they have really enjoyed going as a class and taking the teaching assistants with them, and the kids have really liked that so far. Kendall Moore, a fifth grader in our building, ran in the state cross-country meet. She placed 47th out of 455 girls, which was also a moment where she tied her personal record all time. She was the second fifth grader that finished, and she had an outstanding year as a fifth grader participating in cross-country. So she said she's done with her diet, which we didn't know she was doing, and she's taking some time off. She's fantastic. We're doing candy wars right now, so if anyone wants to help a specific grade, we're collecting candy for our upcoming Spooktacular, which is our Donuts with Grown-Ups, book fair, trick-or-treating indoors. Every grade is competing against each other who can get the most candy donated, so if you'd like to send that in. And some staff shout outs, our MTSS team held a meeting this week. We used the boardroom, it's a big team. We invited our special ed team as well, and Brittany Reed is the lead of that team this year, but it was just great to, we never have enough time, so we're gonna use a whole day in December to meet again, but we really like that time to sit and talk about kids and intervention and how it's going. Crestdale Elementary is sending their team to watch the next time, so that was kind of a nice boost to the confidence of what we're doing, that they're gonna send some people to come and watch. So we were excited kids to finally get to meet. And then for the Spooktacular, Teresa Urban, her husband, I don't know where he gets them, but he gets pumpkins for us every year. And he was able to get 600 so that the middle school can also have pumpkins. I don't ask, they just show up and we put them on the front lawn. So none of them get smashed, which is a miracle. So we have 600 pumpkins coming for the elementary and middle school for that Spooktacular event. So we are thankful for that donation. Yeah.
What day is this spectacular?
It is going to be Thursday the 30th from 5:30 to 7. The fire department's coming, and then the trick-or-treating will be inside, just kind of door to door to classrooms, book fair, donuts in the cafeteria from Dory Orchard. They will get up at 5 a.m. and make 1,200 of their apple orchard donuts. And they're warm when they arrive. So good.
Questions? Thank you. Early Learning Center.
So our building had our first field trip of the year. We'll probably only have 2 field trips this year just for the littles. That's probably enough for us. But we went to Brumballs on the 30th, and it was nice because all 5 of our classrooms in our building got to go together. In the past, we've had to split up and go on separate days, but we all got to go together, so that was really nice. Teachers completed the end of 9-week assessments, and those results will go into families on the 17th, on Friday. So they'll be able to compare that data with the baseline from our first assessments that we did, I think the 2nd week of school, so they can see their students grow. And we actually have our fall festival tomorrow night. So we have stations and games and candy. We got a ton of candy donations from families, and so that was just really wonderful to see all that coming in. We'll have, also our book fair will be set up during that time, so families can shop with their student at the book fair. And then we got many donut donations from Parlor Donuts to distribute to our families at our event tomorrow night. So we're really excited about that. We'll also have cider that families can purchase and just a few things like that. So it's always fun to see our littles in their costumes and just have them go around to stations and get goodies and prizes and stuff. And like Mrs. O'Brien said, our center did get approved for the Lena Grow. And I will be joining a cohort in January to just learn all the ins and outs of how that program works. And LENA stands for the Language Environment Analysis, and what it basically is the student, you pick a student and you can designate students or rotate students, and they wear a shirt that has like a little pocket, but there's a device in it, and it records. It's kind of like, they describe it as like a conversation pedometer. So it records how many words the teacher is saying and back and forth conversations between students and how many words the student is saying. And then we take that data, and they actually have coaches that come out and help us and say what we can do to improve how the conversations that we're having with our students and the back and forth, so that we can help a lot of students just grow their vocabulary and just grow in their way to have, conversations back and forth. So I'm really excited about that.
Thank you. All right, next up is food service.
Well, I have exciting news, at least I feel like it is. If you guys know what Serve Safe is, it's something to do with making sure somebody in your establishment knows the rights and wrongs, the rights and wrongs of running a cafeteria, a restaurant, or anything in that nature. Well, this year, during our first e-learning day, we had a training. I'm a certified instructor with ServSafe and food handlers, and I'm also a proctor certified. So what we did on the first e-learning day, we had a 5-hour training on ServSafe. So the ladies had to listen to me and videos and all that on like cross-contamination or different diseases that could cause like flies. My girls at the high school saying shigella all over the place because they carry a disease that can cause harm to our students. So on the second e-learning day, first we did the training that we missed on the first one, and then they all had to take their tests. I had some that were taking a ServSafe manager test, and then the rest of them was taking the food handlers test. The food handlers, I told my ladies, because it's not a requirement, do the best you can. If you don't pass, you still have your job. The ServSafe manager test, I have to have a ServSafe manager in each of my buildings. So that was a requirement for my managers in each building. Well, I'm proud to tell you that each of them passed. I actually had several of them that passed because I went ahead and did what I consider my assistant managers take that test as well. So at the NELC, Kinsey L. Bergson is a ServSafe manager, so she's qualified. And then at the elementary, I have Angel Amsteds and Alyssa Sheets. And then Vita and Jessica are food handler certified. And then at the middle school, I have Angela Busson, which is my manager. Kimberly Mayberry is the assistant out there. And then she's also a ServSafe manager. And then Lisa and Betsy got the food handlers. So I'm very proud of my ladies. Some of them did not pass, but I'll let you know that they just missed it by a little bit. So I'm very proud of them. And like I said, it's a long test and it's a hard test. It really is. If you have any idea of things that we don't do that we still have to know to take this test, it's very hard, especially when you come to seafood and just everything. So I just want to give a good shout out to my ladies.
Now, can they retake that test, or do you have to wait so long?
Every 5 years.
Every 5 years.
So the managers that I have took it 5 years ago, and they were up for another go around.
The ones that did not pass, do they want to take it again?
I doubt it. Well, the food handler part, I don't know. We'll have to ask him in 5 years.
Well, good job, thank you. Athletics.
Hi, everybody. Over in the corner here. Just a little. Getting my glasses out. We're finishing up the fall seasons. Everything, volleyball's heading into sectionals tomorrow. Football has one game left, and then they'll be going into sectionals. Just want to give you an update on how teams finished. Our girls golf placed second in the TEC this year. Volleyball placed third, raised one spot from last year. Cross country girls won the TEC just this past weekend. Cross country boys came in second. That's what they did last year. Boys tennis ended up second place in the TEC, which is the same as last year. And football is guaranteed a tie for first place. The goal this Friday is to beat Hagerstown and not share that trophy with anyone for a second year in a row. I learned Monday that Northeastern will win the all sports trophy in the all girls sports for the second year in a row, and the boys sports as well. And we had a meeting in November where we'll get those trophies, and I'll bring those and put those in the office. And then the other thing is we received our invitation to the newly formed Eastern Crossroads Conference a couple of weeks ago. I shared that with Mrs. O'Brien, Mr. Markward, talked to our head coaches again, get everybody's input and where we're at. And on Monday informed the TEC ADs that Northeastern will be accepting that invitation and joining the ECC, the Eastern Crossroads Conference. There'll be some transition games with full implementation right now for the 27-28 school year. Depending on some decisions within the TEC, football, it could change a little bit sooner, but we were trying to honor contracts and things like that. So kind of sort on if they can find other teams and tell us that they don't want to play us or anything, then we would move football a little bit sooner. So that's where we're at.
Do you know, are any other schools going, or have they accepted it? Do you know?
I don't. I know that Centerville is talking or has a board meeting next week, I believe, on the 22nd. And I'm not sure where Delta is, but the athletic director has reached out with some questions and things like that that leads me to believe that they're leaning towards joining and accepting. But that's not official. That's just me speculating on people, what they've done and things like that.
If Delta and Centerville say no, can there still be an Eastern Crossroads Conference? Does it need?
No, yeah, I mean, there's enough teams. There's 4 right now, there'd be 5. It just means we would, in football, we pick up some more out of conference teams. And like I said, there's some really good rivalries still in the TEC, and that's the hope is to play some of those folks and keep those rivalries going.
Do you plan on having a parent meeting to invite parents in to ask questions or to explain how all this is going to transition? Have you thought about that?
I hadn't yet. I mean, I can do that. I'm basically answering questions as they've been asked.
I know I have filled a few questions. I know other board members have as well, and I just didn't know if maybe having an open parent discussion might be good, just to share with them what the plans look like, and then if they have questions, maybe that can help answer some things too.
Would an FAQ be more of like a frequent asked questions, send that out to maybe answer some of those questions, or just have any questions you have directed towards us, and we can send out some so everybody can see it as well, and then
That might
So-
be good too.
I think something that we could probably get more information out there sooner if we did something of that nature versus trying to get everybody at a certain time in to do that.
And then you can just include, if you have other questions, then they
Yeah,
can
if you have
reach
other
out.
questions, please direct them to.
Yeah.
And direct that, whoever that is. Right now.
That'd
No,
be-
both of us.
Yeah, because I just think getting that information out to them sooner the better, so they can start putting things and understanding how it's going to work going forward.
Yeah, especially since we've already accepted, right? So what you said, you've already accepted.
Well, I told that, yes, I accepted,
Yeah.
told the athletic directors, I let, the Eastern Hancock athletic director, because he had read that we hadn't received anything yet, and I had explained that we had, and, you know,
Yeah, so after
I
this.
wanted to have this meeting first before I blasted it everywhere.
Yeah, so after this meeting, people will probably have lots of questions then.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
But there's still another meeting, so the acceptance is to then, where they go through the formal process, correct, is that in November?
Correct, yeah, they're waiting to see what the other two teams do, then we'd all start to get together and form bylaws and things like that, so. There's a lot of meetings that still need to happen to make everything.
So I would just say for the record that there are more meetings, and so there'll be more information that we may not have at this time, but that we will have in the future.
And does this conference include all sports?
Yes.
Okay.
High school, middle school, and academic.
Yeah, yeah, our sectional components for- If you look at our sectional components for football, it's already basically all these teams.
It's all those schools.
It's all those schools already.
And again, I'm just looking at, like, in our softball schedule, we already played almost all the schools already in softball. Basketball, we try to play as many of them already. There's some that haven't wanted to be on our schedule yet, but now will have to be on our schedule. And again, if you go look through all the things that we do, now it just would be more consistent with those teams and their, like we talked before, the JV squad. And
I was gonna ask, do they all have JV?
yeah,
They've got numbers.
they
Just
have
give-
shown they have the numbers.
Any other questions? All right, well, thank you. All right, well, that ends our administrative reports, which I feel like we had a lot of information tonight, which was really good. We will go right into community comments. Did anybody sign in that wanted to speak? Did you sign in?
Yes.
Okay, so what we can do is you have 3 minutes to address, you just need to state your name and I think address, right? Did you have to have your address?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
just on
email
there.
on it.
Okay, all right, so your name and then you have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name's Kent Carson. I live in the Northeastern District. I really disagree with starting a new conference deal. You look back in the 90s, the state went to class basketball, and things have changed since then. If you look at the TEC, you look at the MEC, you got a mix of teams. To me, before we would jump ship and do anything this extravagant, I really feel like you need to take Eastern Hancock, Monroe Central, Shenandoah, Wapahani, and maybe West Dell out of the MEC, take them to the TEC, and then that way it would be all 2A schools. Take Lincoln, Hagerstown, Knightstown, Union City out and put them in the MEC, which would be all 1A schools. So that way you just don't have all this disparity all the time that we got now, all these blowouts. If you keep it 2A, 1A, I'm not saying that's the answer, but I really feel like it's gonna help. And I feel too that, they talked about bylaws and stuff, whether the MEC and the TEC could get together and have a gentleman's agreement on the spreads of these games. I know football's got a spread. I'm not a football guy. I don't know what it is. Basketball's 35 points, but some of this stuff like that needs to go down to 30, if not 25. And I don't know what football is, and it needs to go down too. And there's a deal about once we hit the spread to have a running clock. Well, we wait till halftime. I just read an article the other day in the paper about football, and basketball's the same way. To me, once you hit the spread, they need a running clock. And I've seen issues with our squad. Once we get to that place and time, whether it's football or basketball, we need to waiver the JV playing time. So when you get this big spread, you can sit and park our 5 starters and play the bench, play the JV all they want. And also, too, I think they need to look into, like, softball and baseball will end the game early when there's a big point spread. I mean, that game with Union City, girls' game last year was terrible. That game should have been stopped at halftime. Well, you sit there and apply that to basketball and football. And also on that point too, Northeastern's been very lucky of having JV and this and that, but other schools don't, and I don't know if they need to look into a situation where some of these smaller schools where don't have enough kids can go to another school some way and play. So that's all I gotta say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. All right, was there anybody else signed in that wanted to speak? All right,
Sign in.
you have to sign in. And I need you to state your name, your address, your birthday. No, I'm just kidding.
Would you like my social security?
Well, if you're passing it out.
Well, I know most of you here. My name is Rick Fletcher, and I just wanted to be here because I have an interest in the conference realignment stuff. I'm a big supporter of the kids here, not just the athletic kids, but the band kids and the damsel kids, and I'd love to see them all succeed. I'm going to tell you, with this conference realignment, we're taking some risk, I think. We're a small school out here in the middle of the cornfield, and we're going to be competing with schools who have more talent, more resources, not all of them. A lot of them are like us. So there's a risk to that. But honestly, I think if you don't take a risk, you never know what's out there. And my humble opinion, the TEC has some great friendships, rivalries, family members, and that. But honestly, I think it's time has come for at least this school to seek elsewhere as we have and as we are doing. Again, the risk is, enrollment here has been steady. It's probably not going to grow, maybe. I don't even know if we have enough room for more people, probably not. And resources are tight. I mean, I don't know what's in the bank account, but it's a small school. Resources are tight. I look out at the football field, my eyes are failing me, but I can't see at night. That's just the reality. We need new lights, okay? And you guys all know that, and I know that. So I will say, and I talk for Kent, I hear you. Okay, I can hear you loud and clearly. My understanding, there was an attempt to bring those schools in that you mentioned. I'm not on the inside. I don't know anything. Just from what I hear, okay? And that attempt was failed. And somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. But I look at this as, and again, I'm an observer. I'm a fan. That's what I am. As a new frontier, it's exciting. I think we should be excited about this. Now, I did a little homework, and I looked at LaPel and looked at their football team rosters. They have 78 players. Delta's got 80. Newcastle has 60. Eastern Hancock, probably 50. Shenandoah's about our size. Centerville's got over 50. So we're gonna be on the small end there. I think we only dressed 35 and Ryan's not here at this moment. Now, we've had more, okay? But, you know, that could be an issue and we all have to recognize that. We might be on the other end of some of these 35-point games. Could potentially happen at some point. But I think this is probably a good move for the school, for the kids, you know, moving forward. But again, there is risk, okay? And there's a lot of risk because you want to be competitive. The school's done a great job of keeping their athletic programs competitive. This will be a step up in competition for all sports. And I commend the work that Ryan has done and probably John has done some of that. I don't know, maybe he's told Ryan to go get him, I guess, is what he's done. But, you know, and the work that he has, they got coming up, which is gonna be a lot of work to get that going. I think it's a positive move. You know, for the little schools like, and I'm probably past my 3 minutes here.
You're right there.
I apologize. I noticed nobody's got the stopwatch.
Well, I have it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, well, don't tell me where I'm at, okay?
You got 30 seconds.
Oh, all right. For the young, you know, like the link, let's say it out loud here, for the smaller schools. You know, I thought there was a solution there that you kind of mentioned that could have worked well for them, but apparently some people didn't want to do that. So, hey, you gotta move on. You owe it to the parents, you owe it to the kids, to the community, and, you know, I commend the men and women for pursuing this further. So,
Thank
if
you
they got
very
any
much.
questions,
Thank
and by the way, Ryan, we're gonna have him, he's not here, but he's gonna be on Nightline here soon, and we're gonna break it all down, so.
Thank you. All right. There are no other community comments. We will just keep moving. As soon as I figure out how to use my. Not go down any further. Let's see.
Consent items?
All right, so we're just gonna go into the consent items. Even if I'm talking out my note.
You have to hold down on that. Hold with your left hand, don't with your right hand.
I think it likes me. We practice way too much with this. All right, perfect. Right there, consent items, yep. All right, so we're gonna jump into consent items. I don't know how you did that. I knew how to do that. Alright. Phew. Sorry. You out of box today? We are going to go into the approval and signing of the regular board minutes from 9/17. Were there any questions? Did everybody have time to review those? Everything. Okay, next is approval of claims. Anything there? Transfer tuition applications. Do we have any this month? Yes, I guess we have two. Fundraisers.
I had a question just about, what happens with the NHS Oktoberfest? What happens in that event?
We'll have it set up in the cafeteria, and for kids to come down, there's gonna be some different activities that they can do. Mrs. Nightingale, our school counselor, had a really big idea, that's just kind of pared it down, but it's something that's a fundraiser for the student aid fund. But it's something for that, the 31st, for kids to come down and do, in the cafeteria, so.
Just like games and?
Some games and stuff, some different things, yeah.
Field trips, we don't have any right now. We have an out-of-state one to go to the National Museum of U.S. Air Force in Dayton, Ohio. And then we have personnel, which all of us receive that, and then it can be viewed online under board docs. So I'm not gonna read all of them. I do want to mention we have 2 on here that's here tonight. Do you want to speak on that?
Yes, so I'd like to introduce Brooke Cox. Brooke is the new executive assistant here at Central Office, so welcome, Brooke.
Thank you. Welcome.
And then earlier we mentioned, we have Tracy Cox, who we're hoping will be our new assistant principal at the high school.
Anybody have,
So, I was gonna make a motion if you were.
well, if you're ready to make a motion, I just want to see if anybody had anything else. Okay, Dan has a question.
Tierney, what's your role with the mentor for the ECA? What's that look like for you?
What's the what?
The,
My role?
yeah,
I'm super excited. I am mentoring Shannon at NELC. So we're meeting weekly and touching base on things. It's been really good.
thank you.
I make a motion to approve the consent items.
Second.
Who wants it? Okay. All right, motion made by Ms. Claypool to approve the consent items, seconded by Ms. Bartram. All in favor?
Aye.
5-0. All right, moving on into the budget meeting, and I'm gonna let Ms. O'Brien talk about this.
Okay, this is the budget hearing required by the state of Indiana. Going through for rainy day, we're asking for an appropriation of $500,000. Debt service will be asking for an appropriation of $1,594,336. For school pension debt, we made our final payment on the school pension bond in December of 2024. So we will not be asking for any new school pension debt for the 26th budget. So for the education fund, we are asking for an appropriation of $12,300,000. This is a projection of the amount of money that the state will give us. For the operations fund, we're asking for an appropriation of $3,900,000, of which $2,225,000 will come from the tax levy. As the board may remember that we will have to transfer funds from the education fund to the operations fund. I'll ask for approval of that transfer and approval to spend the funds once it is transferred. The total anticipated budget is $18,294,336. We will attempt to levy $3,819,336 to cover our debt services and operations fund. This will move the tax rate to $1.52. I can tell you that we're not going to get an approved tax rate of $1.52. The DLGF will cut the rate, and what they will cut, I mean, that remains to be seen. We're having this hearing as information tonight, and we'll approve the budget October 29th at a special board meeting. Once the budget is approved, the DLGF will cut the budget based on the circuit breaker and the maximum levy growth quotient. And as always, we advertise high, knowing that the budget will be cut and come in lower. So at this time, I will ask if there are any comments from the public on the budget. Okay. All right. Next up is the capital projects plan. So we've talked a lot about projects that are included in the bond, as we mentioned with the track and the masonry bids that went out this week. But in addition to that, the capital projects includes projects from previous years that have not been completed. So please note that what I talked about earlier, the track includes an alternate, so you will see some duplicates. And so in case, I think Mr. Van Dyne, this kind of comes back to your question, If there aren't enough funds in the bond to cover everything that we want to do, we do have them also. It looks like it's a duplicate, but that's kind of a backup in the capital projects to make sure that those can be covered. It was also mentioned, we need new football lights. That's in there as well, so. A lot of projects that you've probably seen in the past, with some additions, so. All right, next is the bus replacement plan. The bus replacement plan is very similar to previous years. We have the ability to purchase like 2 or 3 buses per year. If we ordered them today, they wouldn't arrive until 2027. We always appropriate more than 3 in the event we need to replace a damaged or a failed bus. So you'll see in there, it looks like 5. We really usually purchase 2 or 3, but we have that appropriation in there in the event that something happened. I wanted to remind you that in 2023, there was, we want a rebate for the electric buses, making the cost about $63,000 for a bus, which was more cost effective at that time. What we found is the difference between the electric bus, even though we paid less for it, and the diesel buses, it's really kind of a cost neutral. So it really hasn't saved us anything in that. And we actually have one that has already failed that we've got to try to do something.
And we're not getting electric buses any longer, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we are. Okay.
So that, yeah, so that was, so the rebate was in, yeah. So the rebate in 2023 made the cost $63,000 for a bus. The grant has changed. An electric bus now would cost us $250,000. So not only is it kind of cost neutral when we got them at a cheaper cost, it's no longer cost effective for us to buy electric buses. So the cost would be more and it doesn't save us. So it would be an overall cost. So with that being said, with the bus replacement plan, our plan is to purchase diesel buses. Moving forward.
Because we purchased 6 electric, right, or 6 electric?
We have 9. I thought we had 9.
No, we don't have them. It's on, you can see on the sheet, it says EV, that stands for the electric bus.
Because we purchased 6 in that year, do
Mhm.
you anticipate, I know we've built out for potentially 5 if we need them, we have those funds, but is your hope to start replacing those?
My hope is that I won't have to, but the reality is I probably will.
That's why I'm wondering if we lost one this year, are we thinking we might need to replace that one even
What I
now,
think-
or?
So so a diesel bus, we get about 10 to 12 years out of. The electric buses, we've only had a couple years and we're already having problems. I don't think they're gonna make it.
They're not gonna make it, I don't think. they
Yeah,
will
so I
either.
think what's
agree
gonna
with you.
happen is we're going to continue our cycle with the diesel buses. And then we're gonna have to watch, we may have to, instead of 2 or 3, it may be 4 as we cycle to replace the electric
And, yeah,
buses.
and I guess that's where
Mhm.
if we need to start replacing them even now, especially
Yes.
like the one that we've lost, and I don't wanna come to a year where we lose 4 of them and like, oh, because
Right,
that year would the
Mhm.
electrics just go bad.
yes.
And then we're stuck with those plus the 2 that we were anticipating
Correct.
getting anyway,
Yeah.
and we got 6 on our hands.
Mhm. So we're looking at that, and the other would be if we have a bus that we're going to replace, but we think it could go 1 more year, we may push it back a year to move up an electric in its spot.
Thank you.
How many bus routes do we have now on a regular morning? Do you know?
18.
And do you know, has anybody else around us did the electric buses? I know that was kind of the hopes that everybody else would maybe join in and then we could always use.
No, and not even in our surrounding areas. So what we ran into, I mean, you can't drive it up to Meyer and plug it in the charger. It takes so other than running our routes, close to here, we can't take it out of town because we have nowhere to charge it. So we don't take them on field trips or anything like that.
And I don't see anybody else probably buying them now either, so.
Yeah, they're very sensitive to the heat and cold. So, in a regular time of the year, it's okay, but what happens is you charge them, but then it's trying to compensate for it being cold out. So it's pulling from that charge, so you can charge it overnight and you go out and it's at 34%. So with that, are there any comments, questions about the bus replacement plan? I would like to thank Mr. Burge for his assistance. We work very closely with him on the capital projects plan and on the bus replacement plan. So there are some things in the capital projects plan that were a carryover, but also it's helped him kind of create the big picture on things that we need to get done to make our school better.
The assets on page 2 of the, I'm gonna go back, sorry, I'm away from buses.
Are you on capital projects?
Capital projects, yeah. Those are what we're hoping to purchase this year? I see
That's
it
our
says
wish
within a
list.
3, okay.
Mhm.
And in the priority as listed, 1 to 2 is.
They're not
is the
priority.
They're not priority,
Mhm.
okay. I was more asking what I'm getting to, I guess, the condition, we have 2 corporate vehicles right now, is that correct? And 1 is kind of like kaput. Okay.
So 1 is past its prime and we try not to take it out of town. It's better than an electric bus, but not do much better. But we're, and then on the other vehicle, we're really, so we searched, we're at that point, like to get a good trade-in value.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other one, we've kept too long and the trade-in value's minimal, but
They're high school.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. I remember that skid loader had been one of those things that we've been
Yes.
talking about for some time, and it was just. And is the lawnmowers, are those are complete replacements?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And similar to the bus plan, we have 1 lawnmower that we think we need to replace. We always estimate high in case the other one dies.
Sorry, the other one on that was, because we talked portables before,
Mhm.
is that replacement for what's out here?
Yeah,
Or
so.
in addition?
So the pod was on a 5-year lease. Then we did a 5-year renewal. So it was 10 years. We're now at year 12. So we've kind of gimped along. They're still on it, but the thing with the lease is that when there's a problem, they come and fix it, that kind of thing. But we're to the point we're having some, it's becoming harder and harder so it's time to replace that. So that would be looking at a new lease on. And by leasing, then they would come and get the existing, replace it with a new. And just like anything, I mean, again, it's about a 10-year lifespan. We're about 2 years past that, so.
But we're looking at same size and same classrooms within those modulars.
We'll look at some different options, just depending on where the price comes in. I think they like the option, they like the setup that they have at least now, with it being at least 2 spaces. Just to keep the kids separated. But I mean, it's been 12 years, the models change all the time. There might be something out there that.
Space is just one of those ongoing conversations that we have, so anytime that we put a significant amount of money into space,
Yes.
we wanted to think of the bigger, you know this.
Right.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Consider how we can best utilize any new space we can get.
Yeah.
So.
And as of right now, the space is not the issue. It's more of like the heating, the air, the plumbing, just because it's getting old for that type of a unit.
Are there any other questions on the budget hearing information? So then we will meet October 29th to go over the final.
Yes.
Okay. All right, on to unfinished business. So we have a few policies. First one being policy 2221 for the second reading of the mandatory curriculum. Do we need to send that back for a third reading, or how does everybody feel about voting on that one? You're okay with that one? How's everybody feel? Move on? Okay. Who would like to make a motion?
I make a motion to accept policy 2221, second reading and approval.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Claypool to approve the second reading of the mandatory curriculum, second by Mr. Van Dyne. All in favor? 5-0. The next one is the second reading of the policy 2461. This is for the revised audio, video, and digital recording for the meetings. How's everybody feel about this one?
The, is it 2410 on the agenda?
2461.
It's probably just a typo. It's policy 2410 that I need to.
Yes.
Are you guys ready?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve policy 2410, second reading and approval.
Motion made by Ms. Claypool to approve the second reading of policy 2410, seconded by Ms. Bartram. All in favor? 5-0. Next is policy 6111. This is just the first reading for the internal controls. Are there any conversations, or do you guys want a second reading for this?
I would tell you, so policy 6111, for internal controls, and then the next policy, the 6110.01, which is record retention requirements. Both of these policies, as you can see, they're not redlined because we didn't have these policies in place. We are going through a desktop audit with the state. And these are two policies that they are requiring us to have. They sent us the language that needs to be in the policy for internal controls and for the records retention.
So do you need us to go ahead and approve tonight?
Unless you have questions about them. But yeah, the wording matches exactly what they're requiring as part of their audit. And the records retention one is in the law, but they want us to make sure that we have it as part of our policy. So it's basically just the law that's.
I make a motion to approve policy 6111, first reading to approval.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Claypool to approve policy 6111, internal controls, seconded by Mr. Van Dyne. All in favor? 5-0.
And I make a motion to approve 6110.0 from first reading to approval.
I'll second.
Motion made by Ms. Claypool to approve policy 6110.01 with the record retention requirements, seconded by Ms. Smith. All in favor? 5-0. All right, well, we got through unfinished business. Now on to new business. Collective bargaining tentative agreements.
Okay, tonight the school board is here to meet. to discuss the terms of the tentative agreement of the teacher collective bargaining agreement. So, the tentative agreement is attached, but just a few highlights. The agreement includes a $3,700 increase to the base salary, a $250 literacy endorsement to the base salary. There is a change in insurance language and contribution, and there were updates to fix compliance issue. So the collective bargaining agreement will be presented for approval at the October 29th special board meeting. And at this time, are there any comments from the And thank you to Mrs. Claypool, who was able to participate with us through that process. I think it was very informational, and it was just.
It was a really good evening.
Yeah.
It was nice. Everyone worked well together.
So for those teacher in the audience, assuming board approval on October 29th, we will do retro pay on the 14th of November, with the new salary will be reflected then on the November 21st pay. So we are separating that out. So the 21st is our regular pay date, but we're gonna run retro the week before, just to give everybody a little bit of break from taxes. Plus then you get 3 paychecks in a row, 3 weeks in a row.
I was thinking it's Thanksgiving. I mean, everybody knows about Black Friday and shops on Saturday.
Since we did a larger chunk on the base and with the retro, I think that will help. So, 29th.
All right. So that we'll discuss that one at the special meeting on October 29th as well. That leads us into board comments.
She left, but I just really appreciate Rebecca taking that initiative to bring training to our food service workers who it was not required of them to have that training. I just think, as we've talked before, being a school that wants to be investing in our people, it's not just the students that are growing, it's the faculty and the staff that works here as well. I appreciate her efforts in that.
Just want to welcome two with the same last name. So this will be interesting.
Yeah.
What's the odds of that? We're approving 2 last name Cox. So congratulations to both of you. Shout out to Mr. Markward for holding down the fort again. But now we've got you somebody, and we look forward to that and hope it helps you. That's anybody else? Board comments? All right, employee comments. Who's gonna speak?
Bring on full break.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true, yes. Enjoy everybody's fall break. So if nobody has employee comments, I will ask for an adjournment.
Motion to adjourn. That's okay.
Motion made by Ms. Bartram to adjourn, second by Ms. Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Happy fall break and next week.